Hi, and welcome to my second work in progress video, focusing on the pre-production progress and reflections. But first of all, let me briefly introduce a game I've been playing called Not Tonight. Not Tonight is a 2D pixel art simulation game where you play as a bouncer who is an immigrant living in a dystopian Britain. The gameplay revolves around working at various nightclubs, ensuring that only the right people are allowed entry while maintaining order and security. I was heavily inspired by the stylized characters and their smooth movements with limited pixels. I also like the use of contrast in the game between the bright and vibrant colors of the nightclub and the dull and muted colors of the environment. The visual contrast between two worlds highlights the divide between the privileged world of the nightclub and the harsh reality of the outside world. Overall, Not Tonight is a game that offers a distinctive blend of simulation, narrative driven gameplay, and political commentary, providing the player with a thought provoking and immersive experience. Next, I will talk about my production progress. During the first week, I've been mainly working on putting the assets together in Unity and creating the prototype. For the second week, I spent the whole week fixing the bugs in my game. I have previously made some simple animations for the main characters in Illusion of Life, so I added a background for the game that has some basic city scenes to represent one of the levels. After importing the assets, I had three things to do. First of all, I needed the player to be able to walk around freely, and then have a dog that moves in random directions. And lastly, have some kind of rope mechanism that represents the leash connecting the two characters. And it should be able to stretch depending on the distance between the two. I've been mainly working on 3D games, and the last time I worked on a 2D pixel art game, I was the artist in a team of four. So this time, I had to learn from the beginning of how to make the game in Unity, and I soon ran into a lot of challenges. For example, the idle animation. The animation itself is running smoothly, however, it looks like the character is not standing on the ground and is extending both upwards and downwards. I fixed it by trimming the character sprites in the sprite editor to get rid of the extra space. Then, when I was writing the player controller script, I wanted to use the same walking animation for both left and right movements by flipping the player horizontally instead of creating another animation. My character could walk to the right. When she's walking to the left, she would flip, but the walking animation is not playing properly. I did the transition in the animator first, but I realized it's too complicated to change. So I edited my script so that I could manually control the animations and the characters can now walk both ways. Next thing is the leash mechanism. I couldn't find any tutorial that's close to what I wanted to make, so I got some help from Jad and he wrote me a script for the leash. Here in this clip, the leash is missing a material, so it looks invisible in the game window. Lastly, I had some issue with the player physics. Since I changed my game perspective from a side view to a top-down view, I need to make sure the player can walk in all directions. But something went wrong and somehow the player ended up floating and spinning in the air. I solved this problem by fixing up my script and changing the player's controller, the collider, from a capsule to a box to avoid the spinning. For the final result, the player is now able to move in all directions. The dog is moving in random directions but still within the boundary, and the leash is always connecting the dog and the player. As for the sound, I was collaborating with a sound designer who made some chiptune sound effects that match the style of my game. She has also made two soundtracks. However, both tracks go silent after 4 seconds, so I couldn't use them. We tried fixing the problem by re-uploading, but it didn't work. I will still include all the sounds in the object folder for reference. The feedback these 2 weeks has mainly been about adding more interactable items and reducing the scope of the story so I can focus more on the gameplay and not get dragged by the narratives. I think it's really helpful because I can get carried away writing the story, and I need to prioritize my tasks so I can have a polished game by the end of the semester. The past few weeks I've been working on the storyboard, level design, and the prototype. And being able to actually make the game and see my character move around, I think it's heading towards the right direction. For the next couple of weeks, I'll further develop the game mechanism, make some more animations for the player, and add a few interactable items as the obstacles. And that's all for my work in progress video. Thanks for watching.